Picture this, a town, the kind where neighbors wave from their porches, kids are running around playing, and the biggest thing on anyone's mind is what's for dinner.
Mm.
That was Winona, Minnesota. At least it was until March 31st, 2023. It seemed like just a normal day, and then 26-year-old Madeline Kingsbury just disappeared.
Hmm.
Gone.
All right.
Just like that.
Yeah, she left behind two young children in a community that would never be the same. It's a case that really got to people across the country, didn't it? It makes you realize that even in a place that feels safe, like a picture-perfect small town, bad things can still happen.
It's true. And you can really feel the shock and disbelief in those early reports.
Hmm.
I mean, Maddie dropped her kids off at daycare that morning, and then nothing. No one heard from her again.
And one of the most important things to understand about missing person cases is that those first 48 hours are absolutely critical. Every single minute counts.
Right.
And in Maddie's case, it seems like there were some delays in reporting her missing, which may have really hurt the investigation.
And then, to make matters worse, there was the strange behavior of Maddie's ex-boyfriend, Adam Fravel, the father of her children.
Right.
Maddie's friends were desperately trying to get in touch with her, but the responses they got from Adam were just odd, almost like he didn't care.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag right there. You'd think that someone in that situation, especially the father of the missing woman's children,
Of course.
would be just as worried,
Of course.
They'd be completely cooperative and doing everything they could to help, but that's not what happened here.
It's really disturbing to think about. In one text message, when Maddie's friends were saying how worried they were, Adam actually replied with LOL. I mean, it's just bone-chilling.
Yeah, that's not something you'd expect from someone who's genuinely concerned about the mother of their children vanishing. It's that kind of inconsistency, that lack of genuine concern that investigators really focus on.
As the days went by with no answers, the anxiety and worry just kept growing. It was Maddie's sister, Megan, who became the voice for the family's pain. She started posting these raw, emotional pleas for help on TikTok.
And, social media has its downsides for sure, but in these situations, it can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Megan's videos really struck a chord with people all over the world. Suddenly, this small town tragedy was on everyone's radar, bringing in new leads and putting a lot of pressure on law enforcement to find answers.
The response was incredible. Over 2,000 people, led by Winona's mayor, Scott Sherman, joined the search for Maddie. They searched everywhere. Those rolling bluffs, the quiet riverbanks, places that used to feel so peaceful were now overshadowed by Maddie's disappearance.
This case had a profound impact on the mayor. He talked about how the community came together like a family searching for one of their own. He even compared singing "You Are My Sunshine" at a vigil for Maddie to the lullaby he sang to his own daughter.
It's just heartbreaking. This town, known for its close community, its shared values, was now facing a nightmare. And as the search went on, the focus of the investigation started to shift towards Adam Fravel.
It's important to remember that being a suspect doesn't mean someone is guilty. But as investigators started to put together a timeline, they found inconsistencies in Adam's story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for example, surveillance footage didn't match up with what he said he was doing. He also had scratches on his face and neck, which he claimed came from a friend's dog. And then came a truly chilling discovery. Text messages from 2021 detailing an incident where Adam allegedly choked Maddie in front of their children.
It's amazing how those text messages, that digital trail we leave behind, can be so incriminating. They can really reveal someone's darkest thoughts and actions.
Exactly. And these text messages from 2 years before Maddie disappeared painted a very disturbing picture of possible domestic violence in their relationship.
It's a scary reminder that abuse often happens behind closed doors. A completely different story can be unfolding in private. And in this case, there were even more unsettling details.
Yeah.
Adam was apparently obsessed with the Gabby Petito case.
Right, the highly publicized domestic violence case that ended tragically.
Exactly.
The Gabby Petito case really had a huge impact on public awareness about domestic violence. It brought these important conversations to the forefront and highlighted just how dangerous controlling relationships can be.
Adam even reportedly joked to Maddie that if she didn't listen up, she'd end up like Gabby. I mean, it sends chills down your spine. And then there's the financial side of things. Adam was financially dependent on Maddie. If she left him, it could have had serious consequences for him.
That financial dependence adds a whole other layer of complexity to the case, doesn't it? It introduces a possible motive, suggesting that Adam might have had a reason to stop Maddie from leaving him. It's almost like a really messed up puzzle, isn't it? When you put all these pieces together, the text messages, the financial dependence, his weird fascination with that other case, it paints a very troubling picture.
And then there's Spencer, the man Maddie was dating when she disappeared.
Right.
He was devastated. I mean, he was grieving the loss of their relationship and all the potential they had together.
Spencer's grief really shows you how this tragedy affected so many people. It reminds us that Maddie's absence was felt far beyond her immediate family.
He was even thinking about a future with Maddie, like building a life together, which makes this whole thing even more tragic. And of course, we can't forget about Maddie's family. They were going through unimaginable pain, especially her father, David. He had actually expressed fears that Adam might hurt his daughter.
And sadly, his fears came true. It's a parent's worst nightmare.
Absolutely devastating. The search for Maddie went on for 68 agonizing days filled with ups and downs, and then there was a discovery that sent chills through the whole community. Cadaver dogs alerted to the scent of human remains on a UTV that belonged to Adam's family.
That was a major turning point in the investigation. It suggested a possible connection between Adam and where Maddie's remains might be.
Adam claimed that the scent was from a dead raccoon, but it definitely added to the growing suspicion around him. And tragically, on June 7, 2023, the search came to a heartbreaking end. Maddie's body was found hidden in a rural area south of Winona, an area that Adam and his family knew well.
The location itself was really important, wasn't it? It added another layer of suspicion to an already complicated case.
It was a devastating blow to the community and confirmation of their worst fears. That once peaceful town of Winona was now forever marked by this tragedy. And in a significant development, the charges against Adam were upgraded from second-degree to first-degree murder.
Right. That means the prosecutors now believe the murder was premeditated, not a crime of passion.
It suggests they found some pretty strong new evidence. Adam's trial is set for the fall of 2024. It's going to be a closely watched event filled with emotion and tough questions. I imagine the evidence will center around the inconsistencies in Adam's timeline, the scratches on his body, those chilling text messages from 2021, and of course the location where Maddie's body was found.
It's crucial to remember that Adam, like anyone accused of a crime, is innocent until proven guilty. The trial will be a test of the justice system, a chance for both sides to present their cases.
Adam's defense team insists he's innocent, and they claim to have answers for all the questions raised. They're challenging the validity of statements Adam made during his second interview with police, saying he wasn't read his Miranda rights.
That's a pretty standard legal strategy. The defense is trying to prevent any potentially incriminating statements Adam might have made during that interview from being used against him.
They're also downplaying the significance of the cadaver dog's alert on the UTV, offering up other explanations for the scent.
It's likely they'll try to cast doubt on the prosecution's evidence, suggesting other interpretations of the events surrounding Maddie's disappearance, and highlighting the lack of direct proof connecting Adam to the crime.
It's a complex legal battle with incredibly high stakes. But no matter what happens at the trial, the impact of Maddie's death will continue to be felt in Winona and beyond.
Absolutely. This case makes us confront some uncomfortable truths about domestic violence, the vulnerability of even the most seemingly peaceful communities, and the lasting power of both love and loss.
It's a stark reminder that tragedy can happen anywhere, at any time. It shatters lives and leaves behind so many unanswered questions. And as we wait for the trial and the possibility of justice, we can't forget about the human cost of this tragedy. Maddie's children are now without their mother. Her family and friends are left with a void that can never be filled, and an entire community is left grappling with the loss of their sense of security.
The trial, while essential for seeking justice for Maddie, won't erase the pain or truly fill the void left by her absence.
Yeah, it really drives home the point that even in places that seem safe and happy, there's still a potential for darkness.
Absolutely. And those text messages about the alleged choking incident really highlight how abuse can happen behind closed doors, hidden from everyone.
It's a conversation we need to keep having no matter how uncomfortable it might be.
Right.
We have to learn how to recognize the signs and listen to those who are reaching out for help, and create a culture where victims feel safe coming forward.
Maddie's story really emphasizes how important early intervention is. Having support networks and readily available resources for those experiencing domestic violence.
It's a call to action for all of us. We need to be more aware, more vigilant, more proactive in protecting those who might be vulnerable.
We can't just ignore the possibility of something bad happening, even in places that seem safe and peaceful. And it's so important to remember that Maddie was more than just a victim. She was a daughter, a sister, a mother, a friend. Her life was cut way too short, but it had meaning and value.
Exactly. And even though her story is heartbreaking, it has the potential to bring about change. It reminds us that we all have a responsibility to prevent these tragedies from happening again.
If we can learn from this case, if we can use it to start conversations and take action to raise awareness and provide support for victims of domestic violence, then maybe some good can come from this terrible loss.
So what does this case tell us about the struggles people face, even in communities that seem idyllic? What can we learn from Maddie's story?
It makes us question our assumptions about safety and security. It reminds us that even in the most charming towns, there can be darkness hidden beneath the surface. It forces us to confront the reality of domestic violence and encourages us to be vigilant in recognizing the signs.
It reminds us to trust our gut feelings, to speak up if something seems wrong, and to advocate for those who might be in danger.
For anyone listening who wants to stay updated on the case and support Maddie's family, there's a Facebook page called Finding Madeline Kingsbury.
It's a testament to the love and determination of those who refuse to let her memory be forgotten.
And to anyone out there who might be experiencing domestic violence, please remember that you're not alone. There is help available. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233 or visit thehotline.org.
These resources provide confidential support and guidance. They can be a lifeline for those trying to escape abuse. Remember, even in the darkest of times, there's always hope and there's always help.
And for those of you who found this deep dive insightful, we encourage you to subscribe to the deep dive for more explorations of these complex real-life stories. We'll continue to delve into the human experience, trying to make sense of life's most challenging moments.
Thanks for listening.